What if I told you that there is one question that comes up in almost every data interview? And knowing how to answer that question could be the difference between landing your next gig and walking out empty handed. Stick around because today I'm going to break down the most common data interview questions and give you the exact strategies to crush them every time. Let's jump in. All right, we're going to jump right into some technical questions. Now, these are the questions that are going to be the first hurdle to your interview process and where you could really shine if you are prepared. One of the most classic SQL questions that you'll get is write a query to find out the second highest salary in this table. Let me know what the SQL statement is that you would use down in the comments, and I'll evaluate it and provide any feedback. All right, did you do that? Let me tell you what my answer strategy would be here. Start something simple and logical. Use something like a window function like dense rank to approach to handle the ties gracefully. Then you could explain each step as you go through your thought process with your interviewer. This will help them understand that you not only can write the query, but explain it back to them. So here's an example answer. I'd use a CTE to rank the salaries and then use the query to actually filter for that dense rank in my CTE. So take a look at this query and review it and adapt it to this specific situation that you receive in your interview. Now, here's a quick tip with this. Always test your query with edge cases. Like, what happens if there's only one salary in this table? This really shows you're thorough and detail-oriented. Here's an optimization question. Your query is running slowly. What do you do to fix this? Again, let me know down in the comments what your answer might be. Here's my answer strategy. Mention indexing. Avoid using select all and analyze your query execution plan. You can do this multiple ways that we'll get into in a moment. But share some real world examples of how you've been able to do this in the past. And this will really show, again, your knowledge and ability to do it and how you've had some practical experience. Even if you don't fully solve this problem, always explain what your logic is, with any of these technical questions. For example, I once reduced a query's runtime from 10 minutes to 2 seconds by adding a composite index. And then I use tools like explain in Postgres or explain analyze in MySQL in order to analyze the actual execution plan of my query. All right, next we're going to go over some soft skills questions and the STAR method to answer them. All right, let's jump into some soft skills questions. This is where most candidates really start to stumble, and how you can set yourself apart if you have some great troubleshooting, problem solving, and communication skills. So these questions are going to be all about showing that you are a problem solver and a team player. Now, here's the first question. It's around teamwork. Tell me about a time where you worked on a team project. Now, when you're answering these types of questions, they're called behavioral questions, and these tell me about a time questions, you should use the STAR method to answer those questions. The STAR method stands for situation, task, action, and result. So you're going to explain the situation that you're in, what task was involved, the action that you took, and how you were able to resolve the situation. Okay, again, just like the other questions, let me know down in the comments what your answer might be here. Here's my example answer here. In one project, the data modeling wasn't aligning with our BI team's requirements. I scheduled a meeting so that I could really understand what the needs were from the BI team and kind of bridge that gap. I scheduled this meeting, identified the root problem, and implemented the changes that ended up reducing the report errors by nearly 30%. I also documented these changes and trained the BI team to ensure smooth adoption of the new reporting system. That's really a well-rounded, team-oriented answer that shows your ability to manage the situation and to kind of mediate issues. All right. This next one is around ambiguity in the workplace. So, handling uncertainty. What do you do when requirements are unclear? Now, here, your answer strategy is going to be around showing that you are able to proactively look at situations by asking clarifying questions and creating some prototypes. Highlight your adaptability and alignment with the business goals. Let me know down in the comments what your answer might be here, and then I'll give you an example answer that you could think about and adopt for your own use. When requirements are unclear, I focus on understanding the business problem first. I ask questions like, what's the end goal? Or how will this data be used? This really helps me to propose solutions that align with the bigger picture. And for example, I once built a prototype to help the stakeholders really visualize and see what the end result might look like. And through that discussion and through showing them that visual, it really helped to avoid weeks worth of back and forth and discussion, and we were able to effectively and efficiently work the project. Next, we're going to talk about problem solving and design questions. All right, these problem solving and design questions are really built to help the interviewer understand how you work under pressure. The first one is around data deduplication. Tell me, how do you handle duplicate records in a database? Let me know down in the comments again what your answer might be so that I could evaluate it and provide feedback. Here's my answer strategy. Using row number or distinct for identification will help you to identify if and where you have some duplications. You could also automate the deduplication in your pipelines for more long-term fixes. Really, the pro tip here for me is be sure to frame your answer around building something that is scalable, reusable, and effective in the long run. For example, I once implemented a deduplication process in a project that not only cleaned up the existing data, but also helped to prevent future duplicates by adding some validation rules at the during the ETL process, so that way the ETL process looked at what was already in the database, looked at what was coming in from the data source, and compared the two before pushing that data into the table. Next question is around system design. How would you design a data pipeline for real-time processing? There's lots of tools out there. Think about those. Take a moment, think about this answer, put it down in the comments so that I can evaluate. Mention tools like Kafka, Spark, and Azure Event Hubs. Highlight error handling and scalability and monitoring in your design. These are super important, especially when it comes to real-time data processing. So here's an example answer. I'd start by talking about using Kafka and use that for event streaming and Spark for my real-time processing. I also set up monitoring and alerts to catch the failed events or delays and build in some self-healing to help to resolve those issues. For example, in a recent project, I designed a pipeline that processed millions of events a day with nearly a 90% success rate by implementing robust error handling and scaling resources dynamically based on the load. Make sure, pro tip here is make sure when you're using these numbers, they're as accurate as possible and realistic. Don't tell somebody that I achieved 100% success rate. It's just not possible. Next, we're going to talk about one of the biggest questions that you're going to get in your interview and your opportunity to deliver the winning answer. All right, here it is. Here's the question that gets asked in almost every data interview. The answer that really seals the deal and again gives you that opportunity to shine every time. What makes you stand out as a data professional against our other applicants? All right, think about what that is for you and put it down in the comments. Here's my answer. I take ownership of every one of my projects and focus on delivering the solutions that really save time and improve processes. For example, I once built a reporting pipeline that reduced manual effort by 80%. It empowered teams to be able to focus on the actual analysis rather than the data gathering and cleaning. I also do a good job of staying on top of the latest tools and technologies in my business, and I make sure that I stay up to date on the changes in tools like dbt and Snowflake. This really helps me to ensure that my solutions are cutting edge as well as cost effective for the business. So it's important here, my pro tip here is to talk about your ability to be proactive, take ownership, and be mindful of the costs that you're incurring for the business so that you're implementing and instituting situations and changes that actually help the business both increase profit and decrease the cost for the business. All right, remember, interviews are all about showing how you think, not just what you know. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button for more information on your data engineering career. And remember that on Friday nights at 10 p.m., we answer your questions live. That's 10 p.m. Eastern Time, every Friday night. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video where we're going to share the top 5 tools that every data engineer should know coming up in 2025. Trust me, it's not something you want to miss.